All right, good evening, everybody. Happy Sunday night. We are live on KENS 5 in the Digital Weather Center. We are talking about the radar. We have a couple of storms out there that are firing off with the help of earlier today. We had a couple of things in place, some daytime heat temperatures in the 80s and lower 90s, and most importantly, a wave of energy across central Texas, and that's helping to spark off a couple of downpours in the area. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below and join the conversation. But we're going to be talking all things weather for this next 30 to 45 minutes and just talk about what's happening. Now, reason why we came onto Facebook and social is because of this right here. A flood warning was issued about 30 minutes ago, and this is in effect until 11:30 tonight. But from what I see, the intensity of this storm pretty much maxed out. I would say about, let's say right here, about 15 to 30 minutes ago, where the lightning was really abundant at this point in time, and then you fast forward to right now that the lightning is really starting to dwindle. With that being said, some high water spots, some street flooding is definitely a possibility on this side of town. Between Garden Ridge, Schertz, for example, it started on the southwestern edge of this thunderstorm. There's Bracken, there's Deep Canyon Drive, FM 2252. There is Evans Road, for example. There you go. There's Evans Road, Green Mountain Road. So this is on the northeast side of San Antonio. I-35, 3009, you can see some pretty heavy rain out there. That's some low visibility on the map right now. Again, guys, if you have any questions about where you are, if you want me to look and zoom into your neighborhood, into your area, feel free to comment down below. What's the percent of rain on Tuesday? Probably about 20 to 30%, Richard. Things are going to trend down eventually throughout the week. It's just the system that's out there right now and these last several days have just been locked in. It's been very consistent weather because of the same weather system. There's a high pressure dome and a high pressure system out west, and there's one out east, and we're just sandwiched in between the system that's not moving. It's like locked in. And then when you get into the afternoon hours, that helps spark off a couple more storms, and that could produce some isolated flooding. So we're going to watch this very closely. From Pete, good evening. Where's Bill? He is on, it is off day, Mr. Pete. It is his off day, Pete. So let's talk about what's happening outside. So on the southwest side of San Antonio, you can see some pretty good rain out there as well. There's Wolf Stadium, Valley High. There is the western side. So there is Ingram Road, Petrenko. That's not too far from Alamo Ranch, for example. There's Grossenbacher. There's 211, where a lot's happening over there, but regarding rain, it's quiet. This is kind of moving farther north, so kind of watch the movement of this storm on the southwest side. It's drifting a little bit farther northeast towards like 151. I think overall it's going to trend down and kind of decrease in its strength as it crosses 151 and closer to Leon Valley. But, I mean, anywhere from Leon Valley, maybe between the Alamo Dome, Alamo Heights, and Highway 90 and Lackland Air Force Base, especially like Balcones Heights, you may see a couple of areas of light to moderate rain over the next 30 to 45 minutes as this area of moderate rain is drifting farther northeast. But the big concern is this right here. So we were just talking about this. This does include Canyon Lake, Schertz, and New Braunfels. Schertz saw a pretty good amount of rain the last half hour, but now that's moving away from Schertz. It's moving farther north into Comal County, pretty much into rural areas. Pretty much west of I-35 is where it's really heavy right now, but it's starting to break apart if you look closely between San Marcos, New Braunfels, Canyon Lake, and Schertz. So there is that flood warning that's in effect until 11:30 tonight. I don't think it takes that long. I think it expires before that. But we'll watch this area because that may lead to some flooding concerns, isolated flooding concerns over the next 30 minutes. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Anything off of 211 and Petrenko from Valerie? No, not too much. There is rain to the east of 211, Valerie, but this is all moving north away from 211. So right there, there's 211. There's 1604. There's Petrenko Road and Highway 90 right there. Can you see that? So this is moving due northeast. So while 211 may see, a passing drizzle, passing one or two showers, most of the heavier rain is going to remain east. So east down Highway 90 towards Valley High, Lackland Air Force Base, and then towards 151, and then ultimately towards like Leon Valley, Balcones Heights. But I think generally this will trend down in its intensity. We'll see a couple of areas of thunder, maybe some lightning, but overall more of just a moderate downpour as it advances farther north into like central San Antonio, towards like Leon Valley area, 410 and I-10 area as well. From the JW Marriott, it seemed like 2 storms are going to be sandwiched. Let's see. From Danny, do you have any insights? JW Marriott, 2 storms are going, but they both got pushed back. Let's take a look. Yeah, so this started off as like one large storm right here. So this is about an hour ago, right? This is a heavy band of tropical rain stretching from like Wilson County, eastern Bexar County towards western Guadalupe County. And then you advance it forward, it remains like one complex of thunderstorms. And then as it weakens, it almost branches off into 2 different storms. So that may be what you're alluding to. As it branched off, one side of the storm kind of moved northeast towards like San Marcos and just southeast of Wimberley, where the other part of the storm, where it doesn't look too impressive, is now moving towards Garden Ridge, the JW Marriott, and closer to like the Stone Oak area, more towards like Encino Park and Encino Ridge. So yeah, this started off as like one complex of thunderstorms, and then as it generally weakened, it just kind of branched off into 2 different directions. So that's what we're looking at. For Seguin, let's take a look. Seguin, not too much right now. As a matter of fact, Seguin is outside of the flood warning. That's the good news. Seguin actually saw like a ton of rainfall yesterday. Saturday alone, I think Seguin picked up between like 4 to 6 inches of rain, with some areas east of Seguin along I-10 and south in southern Guadalupe County. I think like up to 8 to 9 on some of the radar estimates yesterday near Seguin. So this is good news, because I know there was some street flooding and some concerns across Guadalupe County yesterday. But this particular flood warning is outside of Seguin, maybe a couple of passing showers for Seguin and down down I-10, but that's pretty much it. For Bandera from Crystal, let's take a look. Bandera, it is quiet. Now, we saw a couple of showers earlier this evening around the 5 o'clock hour around Kerr County, Bandera County, towards Real and Edwards County, but those have since fizzled out. Now, if you're wondering, so before I zoom in, 2 different areas of concern. So one along I-35, that's where rain is really coming down, but it's weakening. That's the good news. It's weakening along I-35 as this storm diminishes in strength and just branches off towards like San Marcos. But earlier this afternoon, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, we had a couple areas of moderate to heavy rain where I think the radar estimated like 2 to 3 outside of Fredericksburg and like 1 to 2 outside of Kerrville, mostly north of Kerrville. Inside like southern and parts of central Kerr County, it wasn't too impressive. However, obviously back on Friday, we saw like, 8 to 12 inches of rain. The grounds are so saturated. Any rain that falls can aggravate the situation. So this flood warning was issued by the National Weather Service. This is in effect until 12 p.m. tonight, which, by the way, tonight at KENS 5 News at 10, we'll be talking about this. We'll have an update on the river. So all the rivers are coming down. They're improving significantly from where they were on Friday and yesterday as well. But this particular part of the Guadalupe, specifically between Hunt and west of Kerrville, along the Guadalupe River, it's expected to rise a few feet. Nothing, just want to put your mind at ease, nothing like what we saw on Friday. But with some of the intake of some showers and thunderstorms earlier today west of Kerrville, that's going to lead to some more water entering the Guadalupe River, and that's expected to reach like minor to maybe moderate flood stage between now and tomorrow morning. We'll have an update on that later tonight on KENS 5 News at 10. I'll have to look at the data from the National Weather Service. You can always look at that as well on the National Weather Service website. Each station along the Guadalupe from Hunt to Kerrville, down to Comfort, all the way down, basically through Berkheim, and then into the Canyon Lake, and then even downstream into the Canal, above and below along the Guadalupe. The National Weather Service has these different flood gauges, observation sites, and they show you what's the latest observation from that site due to the sensor they have out there, and then what it's forecasted to crest at if that is going to happen. This part of the Guadalupe River is expected to rise a few feet from 8 to about 11 or maybe 12, and that will lead to some minor to moderate flooding between Ingram, Hunt, mostly west of Hunt, and between FM 1340 and mostly along Texas 39. Wherever the Guadalupe River runs through, if you're in that area, you'll expect a moderate surge of some water. And again, we'll have an update on that later today. But again, just to put your mind at ease, nothing like what we saw on Friday. Just a little bit of rain earlier today will add to some of the water that's in the Guadalupe at this hour. Crystal, you're very welcome. Absolutely. From Rod and Bulverde, let's take a look. Bulverde up 281. It's not bad. There's some moderate to heavy rain out there. This is moving eastward, so like northeast. So passing over 281. Inside Bulverde itself, quiet, but along Bulverde Road, FM 1863, depending on where you're at, Rod. Some moderate to maybe localized heavy rain along 281, just south of Silverado Spur. South of FM 1863, there's is that Brittle Gate Drive. There's Smithson High School. 281. There's Bulverde right there, and Kinder Parkway, and it's up 281. So absolutely. From David, you lived in San Antonio since 1957. Never saw the continued rain that just pops up every day. Yeah, I mean, especially in July, David. You know, so July began 6 days ago, and every single day there's been rain somewhere, and temperatures like in the 80s every single day. Usually July starts off hot, 100-degree wet weather, sunny skies, but these last 4 to 5 to 6 days have been probably some of the coolest days we've seen in a long time in the summertime, you know, in July. But this is also, I think most importantly, probably the coolest start to July in some time. It's truly incredible. Jackie, San Antonio. Yes, so San Antonio, some moderate to heavy rain on the southwest side. This is moving north-northeast. Latest scan on radar, it's now crossing 151. There's Hunt Lane, there's Ingram Road, there's Wiseman. Some light to moderate rain along Wiseman and between there and Talley Road. And there's Petranco, Keelan Heights, Grossenbacher, Valley High. Not too far from here is Lackland Air Force Base. But yeah, so this is moving north-northeast towards Leon Valley. Some of this will clip downtown San Antonio, and that's what we'll have to watch closely as well. Another downpour popped up right along, is it I-10? Yeah, I-10 and 410. This is actually not too far from our Kens 5 station. A pocket of moderate to heavy rain across 410 over right here. Pretty good rainfall over these areas right here, right? So looking pretty good. Yeah, so this is I-10 and 410. A little downpour popped up over there. Some more light rain out there, some additional non-severe showers out near northern Medina County, near Medina Lake, where they could see some more rain, which is not a bad thing. St. Hedwig. Let's take a look at St. Hedwig. So St. Hedwig, good news, outside of the threat of this flash flood. With that being said, storms out near Lavernia and southern Guadalupe County, way to the south of Seguin. This is not moving towards St. Hedwig. This moisture is all moving towards like San Marcos and up I-35. So, and notice we were talking about this like 10 minutes ago. This thunderstorm started off strong. It branched out as it crossed over I-35 in Schertz, and then now it's both these storms. They started off as one, and they weakened and they branched off. One's heading northeast towards San Marcos. One's heading like across, the JW, Garden Ridge, Evans Road, areas like that. This is, there is a flood warning that's in effect, but by and large, this particular storm that this warning was issued for is weakening rapidly. So I think by about 8:30, 8:45, there may be some leftover showers along this part of San Antonio, but most of this will come to an end. We're going to watch this one out near, there's some redevelopment out near I-35 and Pearsall, Cotulla, a couple of stronger storms out there. Near Texas 97, Cotulla seeing some pretty good heavy rain out there. Dilley, Pearsall, Asherton, Crystal City. La Pryor is dry right now. Eagle Pass, Maverick County is getting soaked right now. Matter of fact, flash flood warning for Maverick County, way to the west of San Antonio, but this does include Eagle Pass and this part of the Rio Grande. So this is where some flooding rains are at right now. Eagle Pass and along our western counties. Alamo Heights area, let's take a look. Alamo Heights area, let's take a look. Alamo Heights, so right around here. Dry, nothing's coming to your direction immediately. However, we're gonna watch this little cluster of rain. If it can maintain its strength as it moves kind of in this direction, you may get clipped by a couple of showers in Alamo Ranch. I think at least some light to moderate rain, but the heavier rain I think will slowly diminish in the next 30 minutes or so as it approaches Leon Valley, Castle Hills, and downtown San Antonio. Someone said from Floresville, from Norma. All right, hey Norma, let's take a look. Let's erase this real quick. Right there, cool. Floresville, there shouldn't be much. There's probably some drizzle in Floresville. That's pretty much it. If you're not seeing drizzle, you're seeing just a few clouds, and that's pretty much it. But mostly quiet in Wilson County, near Poth, Floresville, and Stockdale. Canyon Lake from Viola. Let's take a look. Near Canyon Lake. So Canyon Lake is actually included in this warning. With that being said, moderate rain is now moving into Canyon Lake, if not already raining in Canyon Lake. Over Canyon Lake, I should say. But most of the heavier storms are pretty much done with. There is some thunder and lightning moving towards San Marcos, but that's moving away from Canyon Lake. But yeah, that's Canyon Lake right there, central Comal County right there, and seeing some moderate showers out there this evening. Absolutely, from Canyon Lake. Anything else coming together heavy tonight for Bexar County from Robert? No, I think, so we had the flash flood watch was extended until 10 p.m., so it will be in effect for the next hour and a half or so. But I think overall, the trend for the next few hours, while there'll be rain floating around through 9 and 10 o'clock, most of these showers and storms will decrease in their strength, and most of it will come to an end by 10:30 and 11 o'clock. And I wouldn't be surprised if this flood warning expires early, because originally the Weather Service said, all right, flood warning until 11:30 for Bexar, Comal, Guadalupe, which includes Schertz and Universal City, Northeast San Antonio. But with this storm already weakening and diminishing in its strength, and the lightning is just almost done with, just southwest of San Marcos, I imagine this particular flood warning will be taken back. It'll expire way before 11:30, sometime soon. So there will be some passing showers over the next few hours. That's for sure. But after sunset, after 8:45, 9 o'clock, we lose the heating of the day, and that typically loses the strength of these showers and storms. Rained hard in Cibolo. Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, on the northeast side, in the east side, Robert, I mean, that storm was really organized over St. Hedwig and Cibolo and Schertz. I mean, we had some heavy rain about an hour ago in eastern San Antonio. Lavernia, St. Hedwig, Converse, Schertz. But as that storm moved farther north, while it was warned for a flash flood warning, it's really diminished in its strength and really just kind of branched out and just weakened a lot as it crossed over I-35. But it dropped a lot of rainfall in East Bexar County, that's for sure, between like Converse and St. Hedwig for sure. Thomas, Windcrest, let's take a look. Windcrest is on the northeast side, right? Yeah, so it's dry as a bone in Windcrest, not much out there. There's some light drizzle, leftover showers on the north, not too far from Windcrest, towards like Green Mountain Road, 1604, I-35 area, Garden Ridge area. You can see it's some pretty good rain out there. So again, guys, just to reiterate, there's a flash flood warning for parts of Bexar, Comal, and Guadalupe, but overall, this storm has already weakened a ton. There's only a few showers out there and some thunder and lightning heading to San Marcos, but that's pretty much it with that flash flooded storm that was issued around 45 minutes ago. Miguel, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for the kind words. Absolutely. It's been a long few days, and it's been a tough few days, that's for sure, covering these historic floods. I was looking at some of the data, and this is probably one of the worst floods in Kerrville history. Some floods that measure up to this flood in Kerrville and Kerr County, the one in 1987, where they saw similar rainfall amounts, like 10 to 13 inches of rain. And then there was also a historic flood in July of 1932. So both those floods are measuring up to this flood, but this one definitely catastrophic, heartbreaking. Just no words to describe just how bad this flood has been across the hill country, that's for sure. From Kimmy, Dallas, Texas. Let's take a look, and I'll have to switch radars real quick if you want to take a look at Dallas. Dallas, mostly quiet. So we have the regional radar on, most of the flood warnings, which is not surprising. is stretching from like central Texas, from basically this area, from like Whitney, Waco, Hamilton, all the way down to San Antonio and the Hill Country, which is where the bullseye has been. I mean, I think we saw some incredible video out of Marble Falls, out of Mason, out of Brady, Texas, the Concho Valley, Burnett, Texas, northwest of Austin. There was incredible video of just really catastrophic flooding, not just in Kerr County, but across central Texas. So this has been a long-standing, slow-moving weather system that's just been igniting daily showers and thunderstorms that's led to flash flooding for a few days. So we're hoping this moves out sometime soon. There will be a couple of isolated storms tomorrow and Tuesday, but I think generally the rain coverage and rain chances will be trending down into the middle of this week. So we're going to watch out for the potential for more storms tomorrow, but the coverage of rain should be dropping off pretty precipitously by tomorrow and Tuesday. But yeah, Miguel, thank you so much for the kind words. Absolutely. Kimmy, you're very welcome. Absolutely. Absolutely. So as you can see, as I zoom out and I put this into motion, this is the last 2 hours. While it was active and we had a lot of rain out there, a lot of this is coming to an end. Right now, the heaviest amount of rain is moving through Eagle Pass. That's where it's really heavy. There is still a flash flood warning for Bexar, Comal, and Guadalupe County, but just to reiterate, I think this will expire sooner than the listed time. It says until 11:30 p.m., but I wouldn't be surprised if this expires pretty soon because this particular storm is just really weakening. There's not much to it. There's some leftover lightning just southwest of San Marcos, but that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Kimmy, thank you so much. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the kind words. That means a lot. That means a lot. So again, guys, tomorrow there'll be some daytime heat. We'll still have some leftover energy, and that may produce a couple of downpours in the area. But right now, mostly quiet with a few showers, like between Leon Valley, Ingram Park Mall, 151, Southwest San Antonio. There'll be a few showers that spread into like Castle Hills over the next couple of hours, and we'll watch that too. Here are the 12-hour rain estimates. So primarily, most of this rain fell in the last 6 to 8 hours. And thankfully not in Kerrville, but there were some pockets of moderate to heavy rain in Ingram and in Hunt where, that's where the problems were. I mean, Hunt already saw like 11 to 12 inches of rainfall on Friday. Had a break yesterday, that was the good news, but an additional round today, that can definitely aggravate things, especially along the Guadalupe and some of the areas that I've already seen flash flooding. So that's not what I wanted to show. Let's erase that. So if I do this, and I'll show you. So here are some of the precip estimates. Again, take this with a grain of salt, but this is the radar estimating what fell. Anywhere from like 1 to 2 inches of rain in like parts of Kerr County between Ingram and rural areas like south of 27 and south of I-10. And some localized heavy amounts of rain between Fredericksburg and I-10 and Ingram and Kerrville. So that's where some of the rain was pretty heavy today. Now, this did stretch all the way towards like parts of Uvalde, Medina County, Frio County, La Pryor, LaSalle County. Now moving through Maverick County and Eagle Pass, we're seeing some pretty good rain. Pretty large bullseye right over western Atascosa County. That's Charlotte. Look at this. Radar estimating like 3 to 5 inches in this part of western Atascosa County, so not bad. There's Pleasanton, not much over in Pleasanton, maybe 1/10 of an inch at best. But yeah, that's some pretty good rain out there in Atascosa County. Western Bexar County, Alamo Ranch, Marbach, between there, 211. Earlier today was a pretty good soaking downpour that moved through western San Antonio. Also between the Dominion and Fair Oaks Ranch saw some pretty good rain. That was some heavy downpours. Comal County, around Canyon Lake, around Garden Ridge, around Blanco, and between there and Bulverde, some pretty good rains earlier today. So again, this is primarily taking into account what happened this morning and most importantly this afternoon, because this morning was mostly dry. It was the afternoon hours that helped spark off a couple more storms in the area. So this is just the last 12 hours, mostly your Sunday. Heaviest rain southwest of Dallas, with pockets of heavy rain around south central Texas in our area as well. All right, so let's do this, and flooding outlook. So this is, I believe, is this for today? Let's see. Today, tomorrow. Yeah, today's threat shifted a little bit farther southeast, but again, a lot of this activity is coming to an end. Here's tomorrow. So let me make sure we switch this up. Monday. So this is Monday's flooding outlook. It's a marginal risk, which includes northwest Bexar County, Rock Springs, Del Rio, Eagle Pass, Kerrville. So while this entire area there won't be widespread rain, but the rain that forms could easily cause more localized flash flooding, that's for sure. So that's why tomorrow, 30 to 40% chance at some more scattered rain, but the flooding risk is there. It's marginal, it's low, but the fact that we still have it highlighted, that means there's a chance, that's for sure. Let's take a look. So through the evening, a couple of leftover isolated thunderstorms through about 10 and 11 p.m. Through midnight, mostly cloudy and dry. Tomorrow afternoon, temperatures climb into the upper 80s, lower 90s, and then as you can see right there, there may be some redevelopment between Gonzales, Seguin, Floresville, where, by the way, they saw 5 to 8 inches of rain east of Seguin earlier yesterday. And then notice in the hill country, so right here in the hill country, by about 3 and 4 o'clock tomorrow, we'll have to watch storms in central Texas, like near San Angelo, where exactly they form, and more importantly, how and where they move farther south. So, as you saw in that flooding risk graphic, the Kerrville area still underneath a marginal risk for some isolated flooding, and this is all going to depend on where these storms push through, whether that's in Blanco County, in Johnson City, whether that's in Fredericksburg or Kerrville, or in Rock Springs, or it's in Real County. We're just going to have to watch and wait and see how and where these storms set up for tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. That's a forecast graphic. Here's the 14-day forecast. As you can see right there, high temperature of 90 tomorrow, 30 to 40% chance at more scattered rain. Rain chances drop off by Tuesday and Wednesday, lower 90s. And then for Thursday and Friday, we do have an alert set. And that's for the potential at more dust moving in, hazy skies, and poor air quality in the area. For now, guys, we're going to keep it on the radar loop. Again, a lot of this is really weakening and diminishing in strength. But since I have the lower third, the super that says live radar and flood watch until 10 p.m., I believe that's still in effect from the National Weather Service. Just because there will be rain around, while a lot of this is weakening, there's still just some leftover thunder and lightning out in western San Antonio. That's moving towards Leon Valley and up 410 towards like Ingram Park Mall. I'm going to keep the radar looping over the next hour or so. Again, a lot of these showers and storms will weaken, but just be weather aware. There is one flood warning that's in effect for Comal, Guadalupe, and northeastern Bexar County, but that should expire soon, just because of that weakening storm over I-35. We'll keep it on radar for a little bit, guys. Have a great Sunday night. Be safe, and we'll be live on KENS 5 News at 10 with another update on weather, news, everything you know around the Kerrville area, that's for sure. And then also, again, an update on our river levels across the Guadalupe and across south central Texas.